Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Political Brown Kid here. And before I decided to take a little hiatus, but it just happened, um, I wanted to do a video on the whole Taraji Henson, Color Purple industry, not paying me or treating us badly, particularly black actresses. She didn't say black male actresses. Of course, black women have separated themselves from black men. They don't care about black men. So she's just basically saying how black females get treated badly and she didn't get paid what she was supposed to get paid. I'm kind of glad that I didn't do the video when I was going to do it, which was like last week or the week before last, because now she's come out saying it's distracting from the movie. It's a beautiful movie. The movie's about sisterhood. That's what should be the focus. Even though she was the one making all of the comments and got the internet all riled up over her comments in regards to, how she's not getting paid in Hollywood, how she was only offered $100,000 for the role of Benjamin Button that she played in, as opposed to Brad Pitt getting 10 million. She was the one who talked about, the production, the treatment of the actresses on The Color Purple. And she was the one that started bringing up all of this stuff. So I'm just going to say this, and this is what I've been wanting to say. And it goes back to you guys. I'm telling y'all, the only thing y'all want to watch on my channel, and just to kind of give you guys a heads up, I'm really thinking about dropping this whole YouTube thing, sidebar, because you guys aren't even paying attention. The only thing you want to watch from me is content on dating and women, and when I talk negatively about women or dating experiences. That's the only thing you want to do, because you're just ear hustling. You just want gossip. But I've been dropping stuff about why you shouldn't interracial date. I've been dropping stuff about being pro-black and how to uplift black people. You guys don't even pay attention to videos about that. I dropped a video about how ghetto gag is exploiting black women and gave examples of how the adult industry exploits black women. Y'all not paying attention to that. Y'all, those get like 10 views, 8 views, 6 views. And as soon as you drop something on dating, you guys are all on those videos. So I see how these content creators get sucked into this male bashing and female bashing, but I digress. Here's the problem that I have with Taraji P. Henson, and this is going to be a retrospective, kind of like what I did with Jonathan Majors in a way. The problem that I have with Taraji Henson is this, and this is not just with her, but this is with a lot of people. Black people just don't know how to set up a business. They don't know how to thrive. They're always looking over the fence at what the white man is doing. How much is the white man getting paid? What is the white man doing? They always comparing themselves and using white people as a barometer for what they should be doing and or getting. That's number one. The second thing is the failure of black people to take control of their own destiny. So I'm going to talk about both of those points. And we can talk about a few other points too. But those are the big main points. Let's start with the first point here. Once again, I told y'all, the very first video that I did, you guys need to go into my archives. The very first video, go back to the very first video I did for YouTube. It's one of those. It's called Know Your Numbers. Once again, there are about 380 million people in the United States. 70% of those people identify, or they are, I shouldn't say identify, they are Caucasian. They're either a Latino Caucasian or they are a Caucasian Caucasian. Then there's the other individuals that are black, and we make about 10% of the population. And and then the other blacks that are Latino, they don't even identify as being black. They just say, no, we're Latino, we're not black. Go talk to half those Puerto Ricans that you know. They refuse to identify themselves as black. Go talk to the Dominicans that are here, or go to Dominican. Those people don't even want to be associated with being black, yet they are. Then you have Asians. They make up about, I think, 10 to 15% of the population. And then, like I told you, the Latinos try to separate themselves out, but there's no such thing as a race of Latinos. So when you talk about knowing your numbers, and I did the same comparison. When you look at how Run DMC and the Beastie Boys, prime example, they both do the same sound. Run DMC has a metal infused sound, a hard rock infused sound at times. The Beastie Boys did the same thing. Run DMC was the predecessor to the Beastie Boys, but yet the Beastie Boys has more record sales than Run DMC. And it's because when you have 300 million people, and not only do you have 300 million people and 70% of that 300 million is white, they are the ones that control the financials of the American population. It is a known fact that white households and white individuals make far more, I shouldn't say far more, but they make noticeably more money than black counterparts. And sometimes a black person with a master's degree is equivalent to a white person with a high school diploma. And I don't make this stuff up. So when you have numbers that are skewed this way, and then people are naturally biased, and there's nothing wrong with having a natural bias, but when people say I like watching movies that where there's another white person in it because I'm a young white person, or maybe I'm an elderly person, or I like watching movies about disabled people because I'm disabled. When you have people identifying, that's what they want to see. And I'm not trying to say that black movies don't cross over because they do. Look at Friday. You can look at a lot of black movies that have crossed over to white populations. But what I'm saying is this: sometimes you already know that Hollywood isn't going to fund what they're going to fund. I guarantee you'll never see Hollywood fund a $50 million or $200 million sci-fi movie starring all black people. You never see it. When have you ever seen it? They'll give Star Trek Into Darkness. They'll give all of these other white shows. They'll do Alien Covenant, and they'll put black women in there. Matter of fact, and I was going to do a video on this, but I'll mention it here. When have you ever seen black men in sci-fi movies in lead roles, and in love with a black woman, having a romantic relationship with a black woman? You don't see it. You haven't seen it in any of the Star Wars movies and or offshoots of those movies. All of those women are light-skinned black women paired up with white men. And you don't see a black man in sight unless he's an extra in the background. He's an extra member on Star Trek Into Darkness. But Zoe Saldana is a main character in having relations with white men. I don't make this up. You go watch Han Solo, a Star Wars movie. You have black women. Who was that? Tandy Newton or Carmine Jogo was one of them. I think it was Tandy. You got her in there in love with Woody Harrelson. Not a black man in sight until Han Solo pops up. And then he's a pansexual. But I digress. Getting back to the main point here, because I can kind of go, this subject is really deep. When you start looking over the fence continually, knowing that your financial dollar, and also too, when you look at the continent of Africa, there's about 2 billion people in Africa. And those are where we could make movies and we could make a lot of money in Africa. But the unfortunate part is Africa is a poor country. This is why I'm trying to say know your numbers. Even though there are more black people on planet Earth than there are white, the white people control the funds. If you go to Africa, I can guarantee you in South Africa, those 5 or 3% white people that are in South Africa control 99% of the financials in Africa, the economics. And the rest of those, the majority black people probably control 1%. I'm just throwing this off the top of my dome, but look it up. I guarantee you the numbers are significantly skewed in advantage of white people. So what I'm saying is this: no matter what movie black people make, you can't just say, I need to do something to appease the white man. As long as it's profitable, you should be happy. Stop selling your soul and doing things to see how the white man is going to receive it. Make the movie that you want to make because that's the business that you're in. You're in the arts and humanities business. Taraji, you're supposed to be doing stuff from an artistic perspective. Stop looking over and seeing what the white man gets paid and what you're getting paid. I will agree with you that we should be getting equal pay. But unfortunately, until you help other people, other blacks get their dollars up, But not just in America, but over in Africa, you're going to be in the same situation. Until you own your own industries, you're going to be in the same situation. And this is the other issue that I have. There was a major development that happened about 10 years ago. And in that major development, the city, they did it in a predominantly black area. And that predominantly black governor or mayor told them, they said, look, we'll allow you to build this mixed use development, but you have to use black contractors. You have to let them in on these bids. And then also, we want you to hire people from the community. The black contractors lost out on the bids. You want to know why? And then they cried racism. They cried racism and they filed lawsuits for years when this development came online. But here was the problem. When they're building a big mixed use development and you're trying to get an electrical contract for a 500 unit office building or whatever, I don't know, a 500,000 square foot office building, why are you bidding and you know you only have 2 workers? And you're submitting in your independent bid, then you got another black contractor submitting in his independent bid, and another black contractor submitting in his independent bid. Instead of all of you all getting together and saying, we're going to submit one bid together, we're going to do a joint venture, we're going to put our bid in, pool our resources, and get this government contract. That's the one thing black people don't do, is they don't partner or collaborate with any of other black person. Don't do it. How do people don't even probably realize but if you Google Bluetooth, and I'm old enough to know when Bluetooth first came out, Bluetooth was a consortium created by, I think, Google, Microsoft, and a few other companies. I don't know, but you can go Google it, look it up on Wikipedia. Google was started by multiple companies, rival companies. I mean, not Google, Bluetooth. Bluetooth was created by multiple rival companies in order to create a standard for connecting devices. And that's what you have to do. And so what I'm saying that to say this is that instead of looking over the fence, instead of worrying about how do I get an Oscar in order to please the white man, because if I get an Oscar, then I'm recognized in Hollywood. And that's when you know you made it, is when you get an Oscar. Forget the BET Awards. I want me an Oscar. And that's what we do. And so in order for you to get an Oscar, what do they tell you? Well, you got to play in an interracial movie. You have to, why are you always doing them black movies? You need to be in a movie where a white man is loving on you and he's making you feel good. He make you feel good. And then we'll give you an Oscar. And if anybody didn't catch on to that, that was my Halle Berry voice as she was talking to Billy Bob Thornton. But they always tell you what to do, and you compromise yourself trying to please the white man so you can sit in the Oscars, so you can sit in a gown in a gala and have people ask you what you're wearing, and so you can be the star of the show. Instead of saying, I'm just here to do my art. And I don't care. I'm not trying to appease so-and-so. I'm trying to appease my audience. But black people don't do that. And Taraji's one of them. And she's proving to be one of them. She's caring more about the fame than she's caring about her art. Taraji, you get paid more. Think about this. You don't even have a job. And I get tired of actors and athletes and entertainers talking about jobs. You don't have a job. What you have is a passion that you make money off of. You don't have a job. A trash person, or should I say a garbage sanitation engineer, they have a job. People that build pipelines and build our infrastructure, they have jobs. Teachers have jobs. Police officers have jobs. You don't have a job, Taraji. What you do is you act like you're crying, you act like a baby, or you act like something else, a fictitious character, in order to make money. You're just basically living out your dreams. You don't have a job. You're doing a passion. So let's get this correct. But the other point too is stop worrying about what white people are willing to give you and do your art. Should you get paid? Yes. But also, here's the other thing when she was talking about the pay. Because I remember this with Ice Cube's movie. When you go back and look at Ice Cube's movie, Friday, I do believe Ice Cube funded that himself. And if you notice it, A lot of black people, and you can even look at Tyler Perry when Tyler Perry first came out. We create movies that you can create on a budget. We look and say, how can I write a script? No, I only have limited resources. I'm only going to have access to one camera. I could probably only pay 7 actresses or actors. I can't, have any car crash scenes or blow stuff up. I can't, have sci-fi. How can I create a low budget movie? And that's what people do. And if you look at Friday, that's what Ice Cube did. Ice Cube said, I probably have enough money and enough resources to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film a movie with only about 7 characters in it when we're sitting on a front porch. And how can I make that funny? And he pulled it off very well. And what people fail to realize too is John Witherspoon and Chris Tucker and them said we were only paid $5,000 to do Friday. And I think they shot Friday in 30 days. They filmed the whole movie in a month. And so they only got paid $5,000. But sometimes you take a hit in order to put your name out there, because Chris Tucker was an unknown. John Witherspoon was relatively unknown. But that movie gave them an opportunity. So it's similar to like when you go to the mall and you see those when you go to the food court and you see some of those people giving away free samples of their food so they can get you in. Sometimes you have to do a movie to get your name out there, and then it's up to you to say, how can I ride this and make my star bigger? And Chris Tucker did that. And John Witherspoon obviously found his niche because then he starred in several other movies, and he did his little classic bang, bang, bang thing. So what I'm saying is this, is that you have to pool resources too. And sometimes you have to take those initial hits on those movies. But the one thing I will say in the caveat to that is, when you're looking at an Ice Cube in them, maybe that was what they could pay. And Tyler Perry is very good at what I'm about to say. So I'm going to use him as an example. Tyler Perry will say, hey, Lance Gross, I need you to star in this movie. And I don't know what Lance Gross got paid, but Tyler Perry is very good at saying, hey, look, I got you. You're going to be in my other movies or my other TV shows. He keeps the actors and he keeps them employed. And, sometimes that is if you're working or if you're going to be a producer or if you're going to open up your own production company, that's sometimes what you probably have to do is say, hey, look, I only have enough money to pay you actors and actresses this amount of money on this movie. I know, I'm doing this low, this is a very tight budgeted movie, very independent, but I promise you if the movie does well, I will look out for you in the future. And that's what we need to start doing. The reason why I brought up that mixed use development and those independent contractors trying to do things independently is because you see the same thing in the entertainment industry. White companies don't need you. You need them. You don't need them. That's what I want to say. You don't need them. You have Oprah with her own production company and her own network. Tyler Perry has his own production company and trying to open up his own network. Kathy Hughes has TV One. She has probably her own production company, her own network. Byron Allen has his own company, his own network. And that's fine. But sometimes maybe some of them should get together and say, hey, look, when NBC or when VH1 and MTV was for sale for $2 billion, they should have all got together and said, look, let's all 4 of us collectively get together, form a consortium company, and we can all buy, MTV and VH1. That's what you need to do. Why can't all 4 of these studios get together and say, we can produce The Color Purple, we can produce our own movies? They don't do it. They still relying on Lionsgate, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, which is MGM, and they're relying on Searchlight and Fox, and MTV and all of these bigger people to push them out there. And Country Wayne has already showed you guys the playbook. And I'm throwing Country Wayne out there because Country Wayne is somebody, I didn't even know Country Wayne 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I don't know. But Country Wayne just popped up out of nowhere, him and Desi Banks. I'll say Desi too. I don't know how much Desi Banks makes, but I find them hilarious in their skits. Now, stand-up comedy is a totally different thing. I don't find them funny, I will say that. But in stand-up skits, they are hilarious. And Country Wayne and Desi Banks has proven that all you need, I don't know what kind of crew they have that's operating their cameras, But these two individuals have made, and at least Country Wayne says that he made $20 million last year. And you have to think, most of that had to be off of the strength of what he's doing on YouTube. And I'm pretty sure he's getting paid from his stand-up gigs as well too. But he's showing you the playbook. I even watched that guy, is it Ja? I think his name is Ja. He's a California dude, big dude, always talking about some yams and stuff. And he does his stuff. I don't know what his funds are looking like, but these people are here shooting stuff that looks good quality stuff, and they're independent. So when are we going to start seeing our actors and actresses in Hollywood start doing this type of stuff and producing your own movies and then putting your own movies out straight to whether it be Tubi, getting you a deal with Netflix or Tubi or Hulu or whomever, and Amazon Prime, and just rolling stuff out and putting other Black people on? That's one of the things that I'm trying to say to people. They don't do this. Taraji was complaining that the directors gave them, I guess for The Color Purple, I shouldn't say the directors, but whomever on the set gave them renter cars and told them to drive themselves to work. And she was like, I'm not having it. That's just diva behavior. Let's just be honest. That's just diva behavior. You're a grown woman. Drive the car. Not unless you don't have a driver's license. I understand where she's coming from in a way if you're out of town, because if you're out of town, maybe you don't want to get a rental car. And then also being a star, maybe you're going to be followed, so it could be a security risk. But at the same time, there's plenty of other hardworking people that drive themselves to work every day. You chose to take the role, deal with it. And then also too, she mentioned when she was talking about when she played in Empire, how she had to fire everybody on her staff because they didn't line up anything after Cookie. Now, in a way, I can kind of understand that, but also too, did you communicate that to them that you wanted to, do other things or piggyback off it? Like, how often were you meeting with your team, and how often was you, like putting stuff like having team meetings and kind of expressing what your wants were and what your requirements were for future longevity? Because sometimes you have to take control of your destiny as well. But in a way, I kind of understand what she's saying. But it also at the same time too, Taraji, I think you kind of had a hand in, you not piggybacking and getting deals from the whole Cookie and Empire thing as well. So I just wanted to kind of say that that's the point is, stop looking at white people for validation, and also understand that you do have power, and you have to look towards the proven models that have worked, particularly like I said, Desi Banks, Country Wayne. They have proven it. There are other people on the internet that have proven models, and we need to start doing stuff for ourselves. And then when you do stuff for yourself, employ people that look like you. That's also the other thing. Stop falling for this white trap of we have to be diverse and we have to be have diversity in our businesses. No, we don't. White people don't. To be honest with you, they shouldn't have to have diversity. If we employed the people, if 90% of our people, if we made our staff 90% Black, then we shouldn't need to rely on a white man. I was just watching that dumb show Suits. Yes, it's a dumb show. And, they talk about how they only hire from Harvard. And it's a true statement from Google. They only hire, I shouldn't say they only hire, but they pluck their pipeline is Stanford University. Well, how many Black companies, when you ask Oprah Winfrey Network, or when you ask Tyler Perry Studios, when you ask Def Jam, and when you ask all of these Black companies that's financial companies or that's not in the non-entertainment industry, when you ask them, what's your pipeline? What is your hiring process? I guarantee you they can't tell you. Well, we just hire anybody. We colorblind here. That's your problem. The white man is up here. He's still finessing the system and hiring and making sure his organization remains predominantly white, while you'll sit up here and you won't say, well, our pipeline is going to be Howard University, Hampton University, Tuskegee, Texas A&M. I think they're a Black school in Houston. You don't look and say that this HBCU is going to be our pipeline for our consulting firm. We're plucking our talent right from there. They're going to get interns, and then we're going to convert them to full-time employees. Do black companies do that? These are the things that you have to ask. These are the questions you have to ask, and this is what you have to hold black entrepreneurs accountable for. And they need to hold themselves accountable for it. Because they'll give the white kid 1,000 chances. As soon as they'll hire a black kid, because trust me, we still suffer from institutional racism, from psychological warfare that was done to us. I guarantee you, as soon as the black person or as soon as the black business screw up one time, that's why I can't do business with them black jokers. And you'll never go back. That's why I can't support the black business, because they don't do something right. They didn't cook my hamburger right. Guarantee you go to McDonald's, if they screw your order up, you'll give them 35,000 chances. But that's the way, and also I'm speaking to these business owners. When you hire black talent, give them a chance. If they mess up, you have to give them a chance. Let them get it right, because I guarantee you'll let the white guy get it right. You'll let the white woman get it right. So stop being critically hard on your people. This is the Political Brown Kid. I'm out.